Hey Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video, I want to review what stood out about Week 3 in the NFL season. A lot of interesting things here. Let's begin with Thursday Night Football, which came on September 24th. It was the Redskins visiting the New York Giants. This is interesting because the Pope traveled from Washington, D.C. to New York that day, just like the football game. Before the game began, I had a hunch that the final score would sum to 53. The Giants won this 32-21 for a sum of 53 like I was feeling. The reason 53 is because it's an important number to the Giants, especially in baseball. And there's a major connection here between football and baseball with the World Series. If that sounds crazy, let me explain it to you. But first, let's go over the significance of the Giants score. The Giants won 32-21. The NFL has 32 teams in the league. NFL equals 32 in gematria. Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl of the NFL was in the 66-67 season. NFL in Jewish gematria equals 66. Also, football, for NFL football has Jewish gematria of 249, kind of like 24/9 for September 24th. So a very football number on this date. Football has a 53-man roster, how 53 also ties in with football. But get this, True Seeker, this year is the 111th World Series. New York has simple English gematria of 111. Before the season began, I predicted that the Mets would win the World Series. As the season's gone on, I saw more and more reasons for a Subway Series. Get this, the first ever Subway Series was in 1921. Last year's Super Bowl closed out with a major 21 tribute. Russell Wilson's 21st pass was intercepted by number 21 with 21 seconds left on the date of February 1st. It was the first time all season the Seahawks passed on the goal line. It was the first time all season the rookie, number 21, participated on defense on the goal line. And think about it, the Super Bowl with the game on the line. These games are rigged by the numbers, no doubt. Anyway, that World Series, the first ever Subway Series in 1921, the Giants won 5-3 back when the World Series was of 9 games. Again, New York equals 111. This year, if there was a Subway Series, which is when two New York teams play, it would be the 15th time in history. The last time was 15 years ago in 2000. This year is 2015. I'll have you know that the 2000 World Series, 2001, the following year after 9/11, was played between New York and Arizona, the only two states with 39 gematria. 39, a very important number in New York. Last year's World Series closed out on October 29th, 2014, a day with 53 numerology, like the gematria of the coach's name. The coach and the team have won 3 of the last 5 World Series now. Last year when they won the World Series, it came 66 days after the worst earthquake in San Francisco since the 89 World Series earthquake between the Athletics and the Giants, the Bay Area quake. You know, two teams from the same city, kind of like a Subway Series, but on the West Coast. 66 is significant because World Series has gematria of 66. Also, the USGS that measures earthquakes has gematria of 66. I do videos on earthquakes all throughout this world and how 66 is routinely coded into them. It is incredibly creepy. The Bible is of 66 books, important number in spirituality. Last year, before the 110th World Series, it was reported that Paul Kitterman, 53 years old, was found 110 miles from where he was last seen. This is the day that the World Series was decided. Paul Kitterman in gematria sums to 53 like his age. Notice his height is 5'7", like 57 World Series Pythagorean gematria. Born on 3/22, where have we seen that number before? That's a favorite number of these Zionists who run these sports leagues. This year's first no-hitter, the Giants got the first no-hitter against the Mets. It was the Giants' 33rd win. The Mets were stuck at 31, the ranging degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. The no-hitter came 64 days after the start of the season on April 6th, the 96th day of the year. With regards to 96, the word Freemason equals 96. The Yankees and the Mets are closing out their seasons against Baltimore and Washington Nationals, 2 teams representing the federal government capital in Maryland. Those teams finished with 96 wins last year, the Nationals and the Orioles. This year, the season began on the 96th day. That's an important number to the Freemasons. It's the Masons, the Zionists, who run these leagues by the numbers. The pitcher who got this no-hitter, he wears the number 53 Truth Seeker, and his name in gematria, Chris Heston, sums to 57 like World Series. This might have been a clue as to who was going on June 9th of this season. Okay, so anyway, that's the Thursday night game. That was a big intro. We're going to speed through some of these other games. The Falcons are off to a hot start, 39-28 over the Cowboys. 39 stands out because there's 39 books in the Old Testament. Revelation is based on the Old Testament. Revelation equals 49. The 49ers are hosting the Super Bowl this year. I think the Falcons will have a good season, but they're not the team in the NFC. The Colts got on the board with a win for the first time, just like last year, starting 0-2 and then 1-2. Andrew Luck has gotten 11 wins, 5 losses every year of his career. 33 career wins before this game. This was his 34th. Notice they won 35-33. San Francisco has gematria of 68. This game sums to 68. Colts have a strong possibility at the Super Bowl. So do the Patriots. Last year, the Colts got a lot of 33 tributes. They defeat the Titans with 33 points. Mariota, the QB of that team, played for Oregon, the 33rd state. Raiders-Browns, classic matchup, a sum of 47. Ohio is the birthplace of football. Ohio sums to 47 in gematria. The first Super Bowl was in the 47th season, the year 66-67. Bengals, Lions, and Seahawks are the only teams with 33 name gematria. The Bengals got a 33 tribute in week 1. The only city with 33 gematria is Cleveland, the Ohio teams with their 33 connections. Anyway, Bengals off to a hot start. I don't think they are the team for the Super Bowl, though. That's what we're looking at. The Jaguars in week 3 stands out. 3 years in a row, they've scored 17 points while getting blown out. 2 years ago, it was against the Seahawks, 45-17. Seahawks went to win the Super Bowl. Last year, it was 44-17 against the Colts. Last year in week 3, only 2 teams got 44 tributes. They were the Ravens and the Colts, who 44 years earlier won the Super Bowl as the Baltimore Colts. Last year, they were defeated by the Patriots in the playoffs. First, the Patriots beat the Ravens, then the Colts in Deflategate, going on to win the Super Bowl for the first time, or not for the first time, but after 44 years of being in their division. And also, they defeated Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. Pete Carroll, before coaching the Seahawks, was the coach of the Patriots. Little connection there. Patriots got 51 points. This date had 51 numerology. Important number to the Freemasons, to conspiracy. I got to skip some of these. Eagles got their first win. Last year, the Eagles made the Colts 0-2. This year, they both started 0-2. The Eagles were my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl because of what they did against the Packers in a strange numerology tribute. After this week, I think I might have had that backwards. It might actually be the Packers who are in the Super Bowl. We'll get to it. Got to speed through these other games because we don't have the time. 49ers are hosting Super Bowl 50. The first Super Bowl was 49 years ago in the 47th season of the league. Possible tribute. Bills have gotten 241 tributes already this season. The words home, USA, lock, key, mom all have gematria of 41. 41, the 13th prime number. I think the Bills will end up breaking their fans' hearts again. Seahawks got their first win after 2 scripted losses. They won 26-0. First team to shut out the Bears in 13 years. 26 is the God number in gematria, often paired with 33 as well as 47. Seattle Seahawks have 33 name gematrias, sit on the 47th parallel. I think this was another scripted win by the numbers. Broncos went into Detroit and won 24-12, sum of 36. When you sum 1 through 36, it totals 666. I'd say this was a coincidence, but this year Detroit got a really weird 666 tribute when they became the first city to have on public display a satanic statue. But what took the cake this week was the Monday Night Football game, Chiefs-Packers. The first Super Bowl in the 66-67 season was Packers-Chiefs. The Packers won it. More on that. Check this out, Truth Seeker. The sum of the game, 38-28, totals 66. Again, this is the year of the first Super Bowl, which was won by the Packers. NFL and Jewish gematria equals 66. Important numbers. Aaron Rodgers had 333 passing yards. This was Monday Night Football, which has the gematria of 33, established by a man with a 39 name in history. These important Zionist numbers. If you write out 33 and sum it, it sums to 66. And this year's Super Bowl is Super Bowl 50. 50 when written out sums to 66. And just in case you don't trust my math, put in the calculator for you. There it is. 50, 66. San Francisco in Pythagorean gematria equals 50. They are hosting Super Bowl 50. Aaron Rodgers is from San Francisco, or Chico, California, nearby. He went to school at Cal nearby. Notice he's born December 2nd, 12/2. San Francisco in gematria equals 122. I'll note that Kansas City does as well. San Francisco and Kansas City was the World Series last year. But Aaron Rodgers, a lot of connections. Aaron Rodgers and Alex Smith even have a connection. They were the top 2 picks in the 2005 draft 10 years ago. The Packers wear that big G on the side of their helmet. There's something about G in Francis Bacon's form of gematria. That's where lowercase a to z is worth 1 to 26 and uppercase a to z is worth 27 to 52. Uppercase G in that method is 33. And get this, Truth Seeker. Or hold on, I'll tell you in just a second. Notice this first. The first Super Bowl, 10-35, a sum of 45 points. This year's Super Bowl is on February 7th, 2016, a date with 45 numerology. If it ends up being Colts-Packers, it will have been 45 years since the Baltimore Colts won their first Super Bowl. In Week 4, the Packers go to the 49ers to play. It's on a date with 49 numerology to boot. Green has simple English gematria. Bay 28, put 49 and 28 together, you get 77. 7 times 7 is 49. And that name Aaron for Aaron Rodgers has 49 gematria as well. But don't get too down, Eagles fans, in case you're still believing in that pick. It still has life. Eagles equals 49. So does Dallas. So does Steelers. There's only a handful of teams with 49 connections. Important numbers from Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, an important number in football. Now here's a little Packers history from this week, in which ties in with Brett Favre. In Week 2 of this season, only 2 teams had games summing to 44. They were won by the Packers and the Falcons. Georgia and Wisconsin are the only 2 states with 44 gematria. Georgia won 24-20. Wisconsin won 27-17. I swear to God, the Seahawks are the Packers farm team. Anyway, this stood out. I predicted that the sum of the Packers game would be 44 points with a Packers win before it happened, after witnessing what happened earlier in the day. This was on a date with 44 numerology. Last year on the date with 44 numerology, there was the Ravens and the Colts occurrence that tipped off a clue about the Super Bowl to come. Anyway, look at this. Brett Favre was the 33rd overall pick by the Atlanta Falcons on the 33rd parallel north. The abbreviation ATL equals 33. He was traded to the Green Bay Packers, the only 2 states with 44 gematria. How about that? Week 1 of the NFL season, what was creepy about this is the Packers went into Chicago, Obama land, and won 31-23, which sums to 54, Obama's current age. The name Loretta Lynch, a very weird name, as Attorney General, sums to 54. This number has a lot to do with occult sacrifice, but it was a 44 state that went in there. He's the 44th president. The kill number's 44. This story came out just not long before Obama was elected president. 44 years after JFK's death, new assassination plot revealed. The plot was that he was almost killed in Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears play. So I'm just saying, Truth Seeker, clues abound. Here's another one. The last team to lose in a Super Bowl as a defending champion was the Packers, which is who the Seahawks defeated in a rigged ending to get in the Super Bowl last year, in case you forgot that one. And look at this. Here's last year's Final 4 teams. This was the Super Bowl last year. It's very possible this is the Super Bowl this year. Colts, Packers.